Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So for this video, I'm going to be discussing the upcoming read-along that's going to be happening exclusively on the Bookish Drummer Discord. And that read-along would be for Harry Potter, the entire Harry Potter series. And this will start in March, of course, with book 1. And we're going to be reading all of the books 1 through 7, one book a month from March until September. And that will be happening on the Bookish Drummer Discord. I'm very excited for this, and a lot of people on the Bookish Drummer Discord already know about this, and they're very excited, whether they're, longtime Harry Potter fans wanting to reread their favorite childhood books, or we even have a couple of new people who have never read Harry Potter ever, and they're wanting to dive in for the first time. So, if you're watching this and you're not already on the Bookish Drummer Discord, and you want to, reread the entire Harry Potter series or give it a shot for the first time, go join the Bookish Drummer Discord. Link will be down in the description box below. And yeah, come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, the readathon will be starting in March, of course, with book 1, the one that started it all, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone, depending on what country you're in. And in April, we'll be doing book 2, Chamber of Secrets, which is my personal favorite. In May, we'll be reading book 3, Prisoner of Azkaban. In June, we'll be reading book 4, Goblet of Fire. In July, we'll be reading book 5, Order of the Phoenix. In August, we'll be reading book 6, Half-Blood Prince. And then finally, in September, we'll be reading the 7th and final book, Deathly Hallows. And like I said, the link for the Discord is down below, so if you're excited, like a bunch of us are, to either reread Harry Potter or to try it out for the first time, come join us. It's going to be a blast. And for the rest of this video, I'm going to talk about 2 things. Kind of my history with reading Harry Potter, because it's a little weird, probably a little bit different than most people, I guess. So I'll dive a little bit into that. And then I'm also going to just talk about, what are my favorite Harry Potter books versus like my least favorite Harry Potter books. I'm not going to do a definitive ranking. I'm going to wait to do that until after I reread everything. And that'll kind of make sense after I tell you the history of me reading Harry Potter, because it's a little weird. But yeah, we're just going to dive right into it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, I mentioned that my Harry Potter history is a little weird. It did start out weird because, when I was a kid, I loved reading Harry Potter. And I probably read and reread the first, 3 or 4 books several times. I loved it. I loved Harry Potter. I loved the world. I loved the characters. I loved how magical everything was. So as a kid, I really liked it. And like I said, I read book 1, and I read book 2 a lot, which was probably my favorite. And then book 3, and then I also read, if I can find it, book 4. But then right around the time when Order of the Phoenix was out, like around that time, I just really didn't care about Harry Potter anymore. I kind of was more into horror at that point, because my dad was starting to let me watch horror movies, like rated R movies, and a lot different than reading Harry Potter and watching Harry Potter. So I loved watching horror movies, and then I also got into listening to music and to playing music, playing drums. So not only just Harry Potter, but just reading in general was just not on my mind really at that point. And I just didn't really care. I was just like, oh, another Harry Potter book, whatever. So, by the time I was in high school, and I had just forgotten about Harry Potter. Like, it was off my mind for good. But then when I got into college, and I can kind of just, read for fun again, because in high school, it's just like they're forcing you to read all this crap that you don't want to read. In college, I think like my sophomore year, I just started to wonder, like, how does Harry Potter end? Like, because I read the first 4 books. I read those a lot. But then I quit before I started to read book 5. And so I really didn't know how it ended. And of course, I think I had seen like the first 4 movies, maybe the first 3, I don't know. So I had no idea how it ended. So I was like, all right, I'll get book 5 and I'll give it a go. And I read book 5 and hated it. I really did not like it. For some reason, just Harry Potter came off as just like a whiny bitch. You know, I just, and it was super long too. It's the longest book in the series. It's almost like 900 pages. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it was just long and boring. Ugh. But, you know, it probably just, I don't know. It probably just would have taken some getting used to, you know. Because then after that, I read book 6 and I loved it. Book 6 is probably like my second favorite book in the series from what I remember. And I loved book 6. And then book 7, I was kind of torn on. Because, you know, book 7, I mean, I don't want to spoil it too much, but a lot of the book actually doesn't take place in Hogwarts, and obviously the rest of the books do. So that was kind of a tonal change and a setting change that I really didn't like too much. But overall, the ending of Harry Potter, like the ending to the series in general, I really did enjoy. But overall, that book was kind of a mixed bag. And then also in college, I kind of went back. I didn't reread all of the books. I think I reread the first 2 at least. Maybe the 3rd one, but I definitely reread the first 2 and quite enjoyed them. But I think it's going to be a lot interesting to reread the series as a 30-year-old in its entirety. Because, like I've said, the whole history of me reading Harry Potter is kind of out of whack. Most people probably have fond memories of reading all of the books as a kid or a teenager or a young adult or whatever. But I kind of read the first 4 books, enjoyed them, and then kind of gave up on Harry Potter, and then came back into it later in life and kind of had mixed feelings a little bit. Like some of the books were really good, some of them were kind of bad, some of them were meh. So it'll be interesting to read the whole series through as a 30-year-old and just to see if I really enjoy them or not. I suspect my opinions won't change too much. I think I'll really enjoy the nostalgia factor for the first few books. But I really don't know if I'm going to like that 5th book because I just remember having a bad time with it. But, you know, taste change. Like, I read that book probably, oh God, maybe like 10 years ago at this point, maybe even more. I was a sophomore in college when I read that, so maybe I'll read it and really like it this time. I don't know. Or maybe I'll read the entire series and just kind of think it's okay. I really don't know. I think I'll like it, though. But we'll see. And kind of like my ranking, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to give an official total ranking. But from what I remember, my 2 favorite books, Chamber of Secrets has always been my favorite. And it's so funny because whenever I would go and watch YouTube clips of people ranking Harry Potter, without a doubt, like every time, people are like, well, I love all of the books, but, you know, if I had to pick my least favorite, it would be Chamber of Secrets, which I was always like, ugh, it's so good. Why? I love book 2, probably just because of the nostalgia factor, because I remember reading this as a kid, like, multiple times. I really liked it. And it's probably my favorite of the movies, maybe? I think. I don't know. But, so yeah, Chamber of Secrets definitely is my favorite from what I remember. But I also really enjoyed Half-Blood Prince. And this was one of the ones that I read in college after years of not giving a damn about Harry Potter. So it took me by surprise, especially with, you know, definitely my least favorite was Order of the Phoenix, book 5. So after reading this, I was like, oh God, am I just not going to like this anymore? And then I went from reading that to this and really loved it. So I don't know. So those are my 2 favorites. And like I said, Order of the Phoenix, definitely my least favorite. And then if I had to pick a second least favorite, probably Deathly Hallows. It is a bit on the chunky side, and I didn't really love the first half of it, but I did love the ending. So kind of a mixed bag. And then, you know, kind of in the middle are, of course, you know, book 1, which is a classic. There's not really anything wrong with it necessarily. And then book 3 is also great. And then book 4, this one's kind of the haziest one because I think this is the only one that I haven't read since I was a kid. Like I was probably like 10 or 11 when I read it last time. So it'll be fun to check this out for the first time in like 2 decades. But yeah, that's kind of like my wishy-washy ranking of the series. Like book 2 and 6, I love. Book 5, I really did not like. Book 7 was okay. And then book 1, 3, and 4 were really good, from what I remember. But again, I'm going to do a definitive ranking after the read-along. And it'll be fun to see what people think of my ranking and to get everyone else's ranking. And just, in the Discord, we're going to have channels open for all of the books as we're doing it. So it'll be fun to get everyone's reactions to the books in real time as we're reading them. So, like I said, if you're interested in joining, you can join the Bookish Drummer Discord down below. There'll be a link for that. And yeah, starting in March, 1 book a month until we wrap up with book 7 in September. All right, so that is my announcement video, official announcement video for the Harry Potter read-along taking place on the Bookish Drummer Discord, starting with book 1 in March. Thank you guys so much for watching. And of course, if you're interested at all in joining the Harry Potter read-along, link down below. And also just comment, what are your favorite and least favorite Harry Potter books? Have you read them before? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. And of course, the Bookish Drummer Discord where this whole read-along is taking place. I also have my Patreon page if you want to support me there. And I have my Amazon wish list if you want to buy me a book. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fantastic day.